So I want to go ahead and take a trip down memory lane of a phone that Apple released back in 2016 that really kind of showcased to a lot of people, including myself, pretty much what Apple kind of thought about for a specific tier of devices. Now this iPhone lineup in general was the iPhone SE. Now when I looked at the iPhone SE, in my opinion, this was probably one of the smartest things Apple has ever done for the whole entire series of Apple. When they first released this iPhone, they were really targeting before pretty much that $600 plus tier devices, which used to be like the $1,000 phone. So before there were $1,000 flagships and plus, I mean, at this point, $699, $600, that was kind of what a majority of the phones were going for at that time. So when I looked at that device and I looked at the original iPhone SE, I kind of thought that was a very clever thing from Apple to reach a cheaper demographic of people. And I believe that phone was being sold for $399 or whatever it was. I think that was a pretty competitive price tag for them to target a different sector of people, and they were pretty much utilizing older bodies that weren't even that old. I mean, that was like a 2-year-old design at that time. They were giving it newer internals, and they were selling it as a cheaper device. That's like the perfect just middle ground of devices. That way, if you didn't want to spend the most expensive iPhone, if you didn't want to buy the most expensive iPhone, well, you can go ahead and buy the cheapest one and you can still get a really good experience from it. With the iPhone SE 2020 though, that kind of changed a few things. So they were using a newer body of the iPhone 8, which isn't super old, so that was only like 2 or 3 years old at the time. So I thought that was a pretty clever thing that Apple did. But shortly after, I'm talking about like after a month or two of the iPhone SE initially coming out, that phone kind of became a super outdated device as of that point. And I wouldn't say it's super outdated, but it did become kind of an outdated device just because phones were moving rapidly, especially in 2020. A lot of phones were being released that year as well. And because of, I would say, the design changes of the iPhone 12 with the iPhone 12 mini coming out in 2020, that iPhone SE 2 kind of became a super outdated phone, in my opinion, pretty fast. Now with the iPhone SE 3, this was pretty much the weirdest move I've ever seen Apple make. Not only did they go ahead and retain the same body as the iPhone SE 2, so they didn't even change the body at all. They maintained the same cameras, the front camera, home button, screen, battery size almost. I guess they increased it a little bit, but pretty much every single thing about this phone was exactly the same except that chipset. So they increased the chipset, they gave it a newer chipset, they gave it a little bit more RAM, and they increased the price tag. So almost every single thing that the original iPhone SE stood for, which was, giving us a newer body style of the cheaper one, so pretty much the cheapest body at the time, but the newest internals of the time and everything, that kind of became a little bit different with the iPhone SE 3, mostly because they maintained the same body of the iPhone SE 2. They didn't even give us the iPhone XR body or anything, they gave us the iPhone SE 2 body, so it was already a budget phone they were just recycling, and then they gave it a little bit of better internals, which was nice, but they kept so much of the same, but they increased the price tag, which I think was the weirdest thing they've done. And because of that, that really kind of cheapened the whole entire iPhone SE experience, just because it's so close to the iPhone 11 price tag that, in my opinion, this really doesn't make too much sense for Apple to do, and they kind of ruined that specific lineup of Apple. And that was probably my least favorite thing Apple has done recently, was create an iPhone like the iPhone SE 3 where they did so little and they increased the price tag of it too. So I would love to hear your opinion on this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.